Now back to home. These shutdowns, the ones we've had already, are throwing so many people out of work. And experts say this virus and shutdowns over, what are we told, could last 6 months, could put 1 million Australians out of work. Again today, we saw such long, tragic queues outside Centrelink offices of people who out of nowhere just lost their jobs, even their future. Well, the Morrison government rushed another emergency package through Parliament last night, another $40 billion. But I think a lot of people watching might want to know what help is out there for those of you who have lost their jobs or might be losing their jobs. And joining me to go through what you can get is Assistant Treasurer Michael Sukkar. Michael, it's great to talk to you after so long. I appreciate you taking the time. First of all, these queues. Do people really need to stand there for hours outside to get help?
Well, Andrew, great to be with you. And no, in fact, we would encourage people to the greatest extent possible not to go to their Centrelink office for obvious reasons, with social distancing and others. For those who are seeking to access payments, who have unfortunately lost their job or suffered some circumstance with their work given the coronavirus, we would encourage them to call 132 850. That's 132 850 between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday and 9 to 5 on the weekend. That will enable them to get a reference number that will then enable them to make an application via myGov. All they need to do to get their reference number when they call 132 850 is to have 100 points of ID on hand. I think we're all familiar with that. We will document what that 100 points of ID is. We won't verify it at that time because of obviously the urgency of the circumstances in front of us. It'll be verified later on. But we'll note that 100 points of ID. You will get a reference number that then enables you to log on to myGov and immediately access job seeker payments of up to $565 a fortnight. That will then, that'll kick in immediately. That will then entitle you to the first economic stimulus payment of $750, which will be starting in about a week or so's time from the 31st of March. And thereafter that, from April, you'll be able to apply for the further $550 coronavirus supplement. And now, assuming that you have no other income and that you meet all the other requirements, that will mean between the job seeker payment and the coronavirus supplement from that date in April, you will be, again, give or take your own circumstances, receiving about $1,100 a fortnight, in addition to that previous $750 payment. The reason we've structured it that way, Andrew, is, as the Prime Minister has said, there's no quick fix to this coronavirus pandemic, and so we're trying to ensure that support all the way along is provided, from the immediate access to the job seeker payment, which is a fortnightly payment, to the one-off $750 to give you a bit of a kick, and then again the $550 coronavirus supplement, bringing your total fortnightly payments to $1,100. We are envisaging that this support for many people will be required, as the Prime Minister has said, for at least 6 months. So we're absolutely determined to make sure that we get people through to the other side as unscathed as possible. But can I reiterate, call 132 850, and from there it's a reasonably efficient process to get that first payment.
Now, unfortunately, of course, the myGov website then need to go on to do all the paperwork. That crashed yesterday, crashed again today. What's the story for tomorrow?
Well, Andrew, look, I apologise. The government apologises to people who were unable to get on to myGov. There was a set of circumstances between, obviously, the announcement of the package and these very important support payments and a shutdown, essentially, of entire industries, whether it be hospitality and pubs and clubs and others, which meant that myGov got overwhelmed. So we do apologise for that. We're working very hard to make sure that the capacity is there for what is likely to be a surge, and we're confident that those issues have been ironed out. Can I guarantee that there won't be any issues in the future? Of course not. But myGov is up and running as we speak. There have literally been tens of thousands of applications that are already being progressed. Can I say on the ATO side, which is an agency that I administer, we have ramped up all of our call centres. I think we've now got wait times down to about 8 minutes. And we've today, for example, received 26,000 calls from people asking questions that would be related to their own tax circumstances and the $66 billion package that we brought out. So, of course, Andrew, we want to make this as easy as possible for people in what are very difficult circumstances. So, of course,
what about, can I ask one more thing that you've done? Yes. Look, it's unfortunate. There was a huge surge. That's a great pity, but let's hope that tomorrow's sorted out. You also said the government, that people can draw on their superannuation savings. How do they do that?
So that will be available from mid-April, Andrew. There's a range of systems that we will need to put in place between now and mid-April to make that possible. But again, myGov will be the central source. So once you are familiar with myGov, and either through the process I just described or in the past, most people will have had regular access to myGov, you will be able to apply. So you make the application to the ATO through myGov, and the ATO then will take care of that by putting in the request with your superannuation fund, who is then required to remit the amount that you've requested. Of course, we've said up to $10,000 this financial year, and $10,000 next financial year. If you've lost your job, you can therefore access a total of $20,000. But it's again a very intuitive application through myGov. But can I stress that does not open until mid-April, and from that point onwards, people will be able to make that application for up to 10,000 of their superannuation this financial year and 10,000 next financial year.
Thank you very much for that, Michael Sukkar. Just to stress, for those that want to, you don't go on those queues. Stay inside. Just ring 132 850. That'll take you through, and hopefully that aid will come flowing to you very fast. Michael Sukkar, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Wonderful to be with you, Andrew.